Welcome to the Daily B Show with Maddie B. We've got Nicola Syme here, episode 41. I'm going to be talking about sex, love, and relationships. Exciting. Let me just wipe this little jigger. Camera's a bit dirty. Now, I tried to set this up in my group. Did it live in the group, but it came up that I couldn't add someone on. So I don't know if anyone has any experience in doing go lives in their groups and on their fan pages, but if you do, let me know, because the holy shit, look at everyone jumping on. Hey guys, hello everybody. What the fuck? What the hey guys, g'day. Yeah, if anyone's got any experience doing go lives in their group, like dual go lives, let me know, because I just tried to do it, but it wouldn't allow me to add anyone. So don't know what the go is with that. Oh shit. Let's get you on here, Nicola. Merry Christmas, everyone. Hope everyone's having a great festive season. Just appeared.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you? You feeling fresher?
Yes. I just woke up and about 45 minutes ago, and I spoke to Nicola, and I was like, I'll look fresher when we jump on. I might grab my headphones, actually. Give me a second.
Yeah, do.
Give me one sec.
Cool.
Yeah, I guess introduce yourself to those that weren't here for round one and don't know who you are. And I'll be back in 1 sec.
Sounds good. Hi, everybody. Hey, Doug. Hey, Amy. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Valerie. How are you all? My name is Nikki, and I'm Peaceful Love Warrior. You mentioned love, sex, and relationships, and we're all ears. Haha, yes, absolutely. So good. Hi, beautiful Valerie. So I work with women who are ready to call in their soulmates and are stuck in this cycle of attracting unhealthy, unserving relationships and just need that little bit of help to really call in that incredible love for themselves. So that's what I do. And now we're going to jam about all the goodness.
And do it well at that.
Oh,
absolutely.
Thank you, love. Hey, Lino. Hey, Amber. That's a great topic, obviously.
It's so funny, isn't it? The ones you put up, it's like, even before you post, it's like, I know this is going to get some attention.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
How was everyone's Christmas?
Oh, man. How was it? Christmas is awesome. I know that it's sort of that polarity between people that struggle and having a shit time, and brings up some, sadness because everyone around them is more happy than they are. But at the same time, there is so much love in the air. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
How was yours?
It was good. Yeah, it was good. It was really relaxed, which is exactly what I wanted. Just me and my fam, and yeah it was beautiful. It's perfect.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, same here. Just really chilled. It's good to just hang out and take a load off, chill out with family, friends.
Yes.
Eat lots of ridiculous food.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
I think I might go full vegan after this. Like all the chocolate and the meats and oh man, there's so much cake. Oh, everything. So much food. But my body straight away tells me, like, man, this is not meant
anymore.
to be in here.
Yeah. Yeah. Get it out.
Yeah. But it's so delicious. That whole short-term gratification versus long-term gratification. It's age-old battle within us.
And Christmas Day has this thing attached to it that, it's a day to be gluttonous and eat, consume so much food, and it's just crazy. Like, it's one day, guys. You can spread it out. It doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
You get to define Christmas in your own terms.
True. Yeah, it is. Well, it's represented by the big, fat, jolly man. Like, let's get big, fat, and jolly. So.
That's it, Santa.
Yeah. So where did this come from? We were chatting the other day, and we're like, I think we should jump on and do another episode. And would you like to share the conversation that we had and sort of get that ball rolling?
Yeah, so I'm on a beautiful journey at the moment of healing a lot of masculine wounding, healing my relationship with the masculine and getting to the point where I can, your mama's on. Hi, Mama Banks.
Hi, Mum.
Getting to the point where I can have my relationship with my partner and then have beautiful relationships with other men that fill me up in a different way. And I came to you and I mentioned to you that I have a really beautiful connection with you and wanted to explore it out more and feel safe to do that. And that's where we kind of started diving in a bit, wasn't it? We were just like, oh, this is a cool conversation, because I think a lot of people get into relationships and have this belief that one person is going to provide, like, emotionally and physically and all of the things for me to be enough, you know, for me, that one person. And I think it's incredibly unrealistic to have one person, put the pressure on one person to do that for you.
Yeah, to do everything. It's not helped as well by the level of jealousy that's bred into us somehow, some way. I haven't really thought about the how, but I know when I first got a girlfriend, I was super jealous about just even guys looking at her sideways or
she's mine. She's mine. It's like this mentality of when you're with someone that you own that person. And it's like, well, not really. Like, they're still their own person. They're still allowed to.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, not really, not at all.
And I hear about it so often. I hear about it daily, almost daily, about relationships where, like, and it's generally speaking, the guys are the jealous ones, or seem to be the overtly jealous ones these days. Not so much the girls, but I'm sure that is coming from the girl side as well. But
dude, I've been in that space that, like, was with guys who weren't even allowed to look in the direction of another woman without me flipping off, like, because I had, and that stemmed from that space within of not feeling good enough, not loving myself enough. And yeah, it's like, well, when I stepped into that space, it allowed me to step more into an unconditional kind of love as opposed to conditional kind of love, because I created that relationship with myself. Like, I am now the person who, you know, fills my cup up in all so many ways. That Gary is an added bonus to that, and any other relationship that I have is an added bonus to that. And the things that Gary, like, that I love about my relationship with him, and the things that I can get from you, like the depth of conversation that you and I can have, is different. So it's okay for me to actually step outside of my relationship and have friendships and beautiful, loving friendships with other men without it meaning that, or taking away anything from my relationship with Gary, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And so oh man, I love that you just went there, is what you're sort of saying, and so I'm picking up, is that to your core, you're so comfortable and abundantly loving of yourself that you recognize that you've got everything within you, and there's actually no need
for.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm just gonna call come in. Messing up the GM. That you've got no need for really any outside stimulant or anything outside of you to fill up your cup or to fill a void, and therefore, because you are so content with the self, that everything else outside of you, all the other relationships, are more so just an expression of yourself, as opposed to something you need to fill that gap or to fill that achievement or that goal that you think we used to strive for.
100%. Because my desire for a partner used to be, I need you to complete me. I need you to make me feel whole. I need you to make me feel beautiful. I need you to make me feel loved. And when I created that within myself, I've attracted in Gary, and like, I love Gary and we're together, but I also know that if anything happened between us where we chose to go our separate ways, then I would be fucking okay. Like, it's not that there's no desperation behind it. It's 100% like, he's in my life because I want him in my life.
Yeah.
Like all of my relationships, and I get to choose that, you know, as opposed to it being like, oh my God, I'm so desperately wanting to be with someone to make me feel good, to make me feel like I'm good enough. And that just doesn't work. It doesn't work. And what I've discovered too is that getting to that space within myself of, like, if Gary were to go out and cheat or be with another woman, yeah, it's going to sting and it's going to be a little uncomfortable and be like, oh, I really don't probably love that feeling. But at the end of the day, I know I'll be okay. Like, I'll just be like, okay, cool. So this has happened, and may even choose to stay with him or may not. Like, who knows what would happen. But it's really allowed me to step into that space of being more unconditional. Like, of course, there's still times that shit comes up for me. However, it's allowed me to step into that space to be way more unconditional, and for me to actually explore and define what a relationship is for me as well, and for him. Like, we get to make those kind of rules within our relationship now that that jealousy and that fear and that clinginess and neediness for someone has really dropped off. And now it's a beautiful choice. Then you kind of, you get to just dance with it and see what happens. And we've always had open conversation around that. It's like, we don't know what's going to happen. We may get 7 years down the track and want to explore other people or bring someone else into the relationship or whatever it might be. So we just kind of play it day by day and just be like, cool, we'll see what happens. Because who fucking knows, right? Like, you just don't know.
Yeah, I think that day by day thing is pretty pivotal as well. Like, a lot of people that are stressing out or overwhelmed or just having some sort of challenges with relationships, a lot of the time I see it because they're looking so far into the future, trying to join up all the dots. And a lot of time I'm just like, look, if you enjoy each other's company today and you want to be each other today and you treat each other with love and you have fun today, well, then there's a fair to good chance you're probably going to want to do that tomorrow with each other. And as long as you worry about just doing that today, every day, then the tomorrow will sort itself out. And there's no real need to get too strung up on what the far future is going to be holding, because anything can change, anything can be different. Like, you just don't know. So
100%. And I was listening to Esther Abraham Hicks the other day, and she was saying something around how, you know, we go into these relationships of the one, he has to be the one, and he has to be this person that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. And we put so much pressure on it that we actually prevent ourselves from experiencing anything. Whereas if we go into it with, okay, this is the week, like I'm going to find my guy for the week, and maybe he'll become another week, and maybe he'll become another week, and just take that pressure off and allow yourself to actually be in something and experience something without that, oh, well, this hasn't happened right, so he's maybe not the one. And like, it's just, I don't believe there is one. I believe there are many ones. And I just want to acknowledge something that Valerie said, because she said, and it's the same for him, right? And I'm like, yes, 100%. So he has 100% freedom to explore female relationships if that's what he chooses. Or, like, I know within myself that if he chose to have a close relationship with another woman, I'd be okay with that. Yeah. So yeah, totally okay for him as well.
So going back to when you weren't okay with that, to like that bridge from when you weren't okay with that compared to now being okay with that, what has helped build that bridge? Looking back,
my relationship with self. It always comes back to that. And that is the most important relationship that we get to have, is with ourselves. And if that's, you know, out of whack or out of alignment or something's not right within, no amount of anything outside of us is going to actually, you know, make us feel full or whole or complete at all. And it was I think Madonna commented something before. It's like, yes, it's about self, but there is that human need for connection. And of course, like, we are beings that love to connect with others, and I love it. But it's also like, what I'm kind of getting to the point of is that whole, often we get into relationships and expect that person to be the only person that we need or want to spend time with, or they are going to fill us, like give us the emotional connection, the spiritual connection, the intellectual, like all of the things, as opposed to going, okay, well, he's one part of this incredible experience I get to have with other human beings. He's the one that I choose to be physically connected with, and then some others might choose more, but you know, He's the one that gets to have my body and my soul and that really deep intimate connection. And then I get to have other connections with other men that are of their own. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does to me. Sort of bringing it a little bit more surface level. I say I love you to a lot of people, and there's certain people that I don't say that to straight up. And it's not because I don't feel the same way about them, but it's just that I feel like certain people they have the capacity and the openness to get to a certain level of intimacy and experience a certain level of intimacy from me and with me. And so, yeah, I think that's just where it is. Like, we get to choose how we express ourselves and to whom we express ourselves, and to what level we get to express ourselves as well. And like, I do like genuinely love everyone to my core, but it doesn't mean that I'm gonna go up and, you know, tell everyone the same stuff as I'm going to tell you to the next person as well, and act the same way. But it's all just opportunities to express ourselves, yeah, in the best way that we see fit.
Definitely. And I think you can, well, I know you can actually love all beings without having to speak the words. It's that that energy that you put into the world when you are vibrating from a love frequency, then people feel that, you know, like, and without you even having to speak the words. And that's powerful. That's really powerful.
Is there have you found a process of, what I'm thinking of is, like, I can imagine people asking about a line in the sand, like, okay, if you're going to go out and have emotional relationships or intellectual relationships, and get emotionally and intellectually intimate with other people, but not physically, for example, where's that balance point of, all right, you're spending too much time with other people that you're getting more from me from, and yeah, you know, separating that time that you spend with your chosen family and partner?
Honestly, I don't know yet. I haven't experienced that yet, so I don't know yet. I imagine it will be along the lines of, you know, what feels comfortable, what feels right for you guys still. If one person in the relationship is spending all their time, so say, for example, we'll just use you and my partner. So if I was just like constantly on the phone to you or constantly going to see you and not spending time with Gary, then that would be a bit of an indication to me that there's actually something like deeper going on, as opposed to it just being exploring other friendships and that kind of thing. Whereas, you know, my family is still my priority. It comes down to that, doesn't it? It's like priorities, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, to be honest, I don't feel like I can answer that completely because I haven't experienced that line yet. So, what do you think?
I think you sort of hit the nail on the head in that just living in the moment still comes back to day to day. Like, if you find that yesterday we were spending all our time together as a partnership, and now today I seem to be spending 90% of it with somebody else because for whatever reason I'm getting what I need from that person. Well, then, yeah, it's just a matter of communication and being open with where you are, what you're going through, what your needs are that need to be met, what way you feel they need to be met. Yeah, and I think that, like, a book that I really love was The Way of the Superior Man, and it talks about living from that superior mindset is to recognize that no matter what we're creating, it's going to die. So whether you're creating a piece of artwork, or you're creating a relationship, or even your own life, like, it is going to come to an end. And it's not about creating something that is everlasting and that you're doing it because of the accolade that you're going to get or to have some sort of trophy, but more so just to be an expression of your own creativity, of your own love, and to put that out there for whomever does or does not experience it. And so I see the relationships just as a creative outlet to express ourselves. The communication being key, really.
Yeah. Yes. And that is so, so important, that communication. And I think what's led me, like, I just want to give a bit, because I think I'm just going to read it. Madonna said, actually, I disagree. There is nothing wrong with waking up with commitment in your heart for each other. So this raises the question of what is wrong with a 20, 30, 50-year marriage. Going outside of your primary romantic love and intimacy relationship for that same type of connection without communication and consent is, in my mind, disrespectful to yourself. Going outside of your primary romantic love, without actually talking to your partner about it, absolutely. I would not be comfortable with him doing that at all. There's absolutely nothing wrong with a 20, 30, 50-year marriage. So what it came down to for me was that I have an incredible relationship with this amazing man. However, he's not spiritually minded same way that I am. So for me, it's about connecting with other conscious men to be able to have those really deep spiritual conversations that I can't have with Gary because he's not that way inclined. Yet it's acknowledging all the beautiful parts and things that he does bring to our relationship that I adore in him, and knowing that that is, you know, what has brought us together and creates our incredible relationship, but then also allowing myself to experience that kind of connection with someone else without it meaning anything about my relationship with Gary. I hope that gives some clarity. And communication, 100%. He knows all of this. Like, I'm on a fucking Facebook Live talking to the world about this that he can see. Like, he knows all of this. There's no secrets with it. And that's key, you know, no secrets. There's trust. There's total trust there. So it's like, well, if you've got nothing to worry about, then what's the problem?
Yeah. And it is sometimes takes some getting to this point from. It took some uncomfortable conversations for me to get to this point as well, and recognizing that to break that old paradigm and to break those old belief systems of what Disney movies created in my mind, and this need to sort of people please as well. It took a lot of uncomfortable conversations to really own my own truth and be able to sit with someone and express myself openly, knowing that potentially it's not going to be what they want to hear. But it's for the better, for sure.
Absolutely. And that creates an intimacy within that relationship like nothing else as well. Like, the times when I've been most afraid to speak to Gary about things are the times where he's just showing up in a way that I wasn't expecting. And I'm just like, wow, like, it's amazing. It's really incredible. So yeah, it's definitely, and I hate that fucking, like, the perfect happy ever after. It just doesn't fucking exist. Like, there is no relationship like the fucking Cinderella or whatever it is. And that does so much damage because so many people look for that and expect that shit. And it's like, well, fuck, I've never been in a relationship like that. They take work. Being with one person your entire life, or for an extended period of time, it takes commitment and it takes work. Like, just be fucking real. I'm bursting your fucking bubble right now. It doesn't work that way. Even the people that you think have perfect fucking relationships have their fucking shit. Everyone has their shit going on. And that's where it's damaging, especially social media. Like, to him, would it ruin your relationship? If your husband asked you to remain monogamous to him, would it ruin your relationship with him? He's not my husband, he's my partner. No, I don't believe so. We would talk about it, and like, don't get me wrong, I'm not sleeping with other people or anything like that. But yeah, if he came to me and said that he was uncomfortable with me forming beautiful friendships with other guys, then yeah, we would just have to chat about that, I suppose. And I guess you would put boundaries in place and things like that to, protect our relationship for sure, because that would be my priority 100%. Yeah.
How do you
needs to be a definite line. There needs to be a definite line. I once interviewed an open relationship coach, and it is a very delicate balance between friendship with men and women without it going into an intimate space. Yeah, absolutely. definitely. And there is a dance, and that's what you have to. And then again, you get to speak your truth with the men that you are spending time with and having these beautiful friendships with, to know, so that everyone knows what's going on. It's when you go into these things without actually expressing your truth about it and saying, look, I have an amazing relationship, but I fucking have an incredible connection with you. Like, let's fucking be mates. But this is where it's at. Like, these are the lines. What is the line of inappropriate intimacy with another man? I think that's different for everyone. You and your partner get to decide on that. Friendships are different to physical relationships.
But then at the same time, emotional relationships where people form really strong connections sometimes are more intimate
Can
than
lead
physical.
to more. Yeah, that's very true. The emotional connection can often be a lot more intimate.
I'm going to throw a spanner in the works and see what comes up, because I like to poke the bear. So what about the concept that monogamy is based on human insecurities, and that
I love you.
and that all these lines in the sand and these barriers are just our own insecurities being drawn up, essentially, to keep us safe because of the things that we're afraid of?
Well, it still comes to ego, isn't it? And holding on. So if I said to Gary, no, I don't want you to have close relationships with other women, then that's my fear of losing him because I own him. Yeah.
Everyone's line seems to be different. Well, no, you can talk to them, but only about these things, or you can spend this time with them, but only this much, or
you're not allowed to touch. You're not allowed to hug.
Don't fuck them.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So everyone's got theirs, but I think that is just another indicator that everyone's at where they're at, and your own insecurities will dictate the level at which you're able to. Because at the end of the day, like, if I love you and I truly love you, and you were over there in your own space, in your own time, creating an amazing experience with someone else and having a beautiful, beautiful relationship and a beautiful time, why, if I love you unconditionally, would I not want you to experience that? What part of me would not want you to do that and have that beautiful experience? All I see is the part of me that either is fearful of something, losing you,
ownership,
being grossed
still
out by
owning.
being cheated on. Yeah.
And I still have that. I like thinking of Gary physically being with another woman. Yeah, it makes me uncomfortable. So I've still got ownership there. Interesting. Yeah. Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. That's what we get to look at, and go, wow, so I'm fucking trying to own this person still, and putting limitations and not unconditionally loving him.
Not at all. Which in turn means we're not unconditionally loving ourselves.
So it's an open fucking rabbit hole.
What was that?
A fucking rabbit hole. Oh, we could go down that. Open relationships. I know a couple who have a really fucking incredible relationship. They define it on their terms, and they have periods of time where they go out and they live alone. Like, he moves out and they go and live in separate houses, and they've had another woman come into the relationship, and they've explored outside of the relationship, and she goes on holidays by herself and he goes on holidays by herself. Like, it's an incredible relationship, and they have so much love, unconditional love for each other, that they allow themselves to express and explore their life, really experience their life. Why is that not okay? Like, who tells us that relationship is meet someone, get married, be with them for the rest of your life. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you choose. However, the option to choose something else is 100% okay as well, without it being meaning that there's anything wrong with you. And
Well, placebo has a better success rate than marriage.
there you go.
So it's after I split up with and got out of my long-term relationship a year and a half ago, I felt like a hypocrite in the sense that I really wanted to not want to be with anyone else and wanted to be with her forever. But that, and what I thought was maybe the immature boy within me had just not matured to a point, or just had not experienced true love, or hadn't experienced something to get over that part of me. And I recognized that once we separated, I felt like a hypocrite, because there was a part of me that wanted to connect with other women and with other people, and I felt like I was holding myself back and not allowing myself to experience the full colors of the rainbow in that sense, and not necessarily just not going over to have sex with and physically with people, but there was just this unspoken and unwritten line in the sand of the boundaries that comes with a relationship. And it didn't feel right to me. And I went on this hunt to try and figure out why I felt that way and why they didn't leave. And it is things like, for thousands of years, monogamy was never a part of majority of our culture. Sex in itself has been used mostly to strengthen bonds between tribes, or it's just strengthen relationships in the social setting. And it's just another form of intimacy, just like you might talk to someone about the weather, but then the next person you might talk about your family with, and the next person you might make out with. Like, it's all just different levels of intimacy and connection and relating to people. And even the term relationship, like, we are all in a relationship together, but when we call something a relationship,
relate with everyone.
Yeah, right. But this term relationship, it's like, oh, I'm in a relationship. It's got this beautiful sort of undertone to it. But really what it is like we've just pitched a massive wall around this imaginary area and called it a relationship now. And there's really...
And now we have all these walls, these blocks and these boundaries about what we are allowed to do. Now that we're in a relationship, I can't do this and I can't do that, but I can do this. Like, it's fucking crazy when you break it down like that, hey, and actually go, what the fuck?
Stupid.
Yeah. And sex is a celebration of love. Yeah. So, and it's something that is misused massively. Yeah. But when you really connect with it, it's a beautiful celebration of love that you feel for someone, and it creates life. Like, it's beautiful. Yeah. I don't know where I was going with that. I just wanted to say that.
I love it. I used to call them relationship teas.
Relationships.
Yeah, true.
Nice, Tony.
So blame the churches. Well, look, it was the industrial age and even the agricultural age, when we started to hold on to land and titles, that people started to get married for business to keep their land and their wealth within certain family groups. And it was never about love. But then really it turned into, they attached love to it when I think the diamond companies started to sell diamonds, and they brought it in and started to market it that, diamonds are a girl's best friend. And so that's sort of how, and I could be completely wrong about this, but this is my limited understanding. That's when it turned to love. And then the movies like Disney and that caught on and started to just, create entertainment around that and around those stories of one true love. But it's all an archetype of us searching for the one, like for our own power, for our own truth, for loving ourselves. And everything's a mirror. So that connection, that love that we seek outside of us, it's actually within. Like the true search for love is that search for loving yourself, which is, Nicola, is what you're talking about at the start.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no right or
And
wrong.
that's it. Like,
It's all
that's
pointing in the same direction.
yeah, exactly. But that's the thing, is that we are fed this story that when you find a partner or find a man or get into a relationship, that your life will be complete. And your life is fucking
Yeah.
complete when you get in touch with yourself. Like, when you are perfect, whole, and complete, but not finished yet. When you fucking can look in the mirror and look yourself in the eye and say, yes, I fucking love you, and I can go to bed with you every single fucking night because I know who you are. That
Lucky.
is when you know love, yeah? And from that space,
Yeah.
you can attract an incredible love from another, an incredible, open, loving, unconditional relationship, or fuck, whatever you want to fucking call it, with someone else. And it not being about need and desperation and I need you to fix me and I need you to make me feel good and I need you to make me fucking feel loved and fill me up. And it's not, yeah, because it doesn't
Yeah.
last that way. Like, it doesn't last that way. And I want to go back and just Madonna. I coach a lot of couples who have emotionally given themselves to another person without consent. Yes, without consent. That is key here. If there is no consent, if you're doing it behind someone's back, then that's not okay. But if you're having open communication with the person that you're with, and I feel like you're maybe misunderstanding what I'm talking about here, in that it's not about having anything behind closed doors or sneaking around, or, you know, it's about being in a relationship and also having beautiful relationships with people of the opposite sex without it meaning anything about your relationship, and being able to love, like, just be true to who you are and love in a way that makes you feel fucking you.
Amazing.
Like, yeah, it's just love. Love is beautiful, and love needs to be shared to all the peeps. Like, it's
Like, yeah.
and just because you're choosing to be with one person doesn't mean that you can't experience love with others. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. I think, yeah, it's interesting to see people in conversation, what they attach love to. Like, for me, for so long, I attached it to physical intimacy. And so if I
Me
wasn't
too.
being held, then I didn't feel like I was being loved. It wasn't being shown to me. So seek that out. Yeah, you're the same.
Oh yeah, well, sex used to be my validation that I was loved. If you want to have sex with me, then you obviously love me. And now I'm not in that space, thankfully. I've shifted out of that. And so much healing has come for me in my relationship with Gary now, and being able to step out of that. But yeah, I can totally relate to that. And that's, I think, a lot of people is like, oh, if he desires me, if he wants to fucking put his hands on me and fuck me all the time, and then that's love. When often that's lust, you know. Love or sex. What do you mean, Carol? Love or sex, what?
Yeah. Going through this bout of abstinence as well has been
Oh yeah, you still going?
an interesting process of detachment.
Yes, detachment.
And
That's the fucking word. Detachment.
yeah,
Detaching from
it is.
like your partner, detaching from that fucking attachment to that person who's your fucking person. Like, just let go.
Like a leech. Yeah, that's what my last relationship taught me massively, was that letting go process, which I'm really grateful for. And the abstinence as well, it's shown me that where I used to suppress a lot of my cheek and a lot of my character because of fear of being misunderstood or taken the wrong way, or whatever. It was, now that I've got no ulterior motive when I'm talking to people, I'm a lot more cheeky and a lot more flirtatious, because that's just what comes out of me naturally. It's I know that it's fun, it's funny, it makes the people around me sort of giggle and have fun as well, and lightens the mood. But I used to feel like that was met with well, it was more me judging myself in that I thought people would think that I'm just trying to pick them up or got some ulterior motive to that, when really it's just me just having fun and being cheeky. And
Yeah, there's no intention
so going
behind
through
it.
this, and so this has really given me a good example of how I can be playful and cheeky, and it's just been in my own head, my own judgment of myself, because it's met with playfulness and fun and joy. It's really cool. So being able to open up and express.
Yeah, and I think too, like there's also that kind of that when it comes back to that whole defining what cheating is in your relationship as well, because often it's seen as the sex, the physical stuff is the cheating, whereas for someone it might actually not be the physical stuff, it might be the emotional stuff. Having that beautiful emotional connection with someone else could be defined as the cheating.
So what's your line in the sand?
With Gary, I don't know. I think I'm okay with him having, I'm not even sure there is one. That's really interesting. Like, I feel like if anything were to happen, then I wouldn't know until it happened. Like, I'm not like,
You seem very clear.
that's really interesting. Yeah, like, that's interesting because I'm like, in the past, I would have been like, well, if he fucking touches her, he's fucked. Like, he's gone. Whereas now it's like, well, who am I to kind of, if that's what's meant to happen, is that just what's meant to happen? And like, who am I to deny him that experience? Ooh, yeah. I'm not sure there is a line there.
Me and my ex had this agreement that if we wanted to be with anyone else, or we felt the temptation, that we would at least call or speak to each other first and just let each other know before we did it. So it was sort of that double-edged sword of keeping communication open, but also we had that agreement in place. So it was almost like there was this fear of not wanting to have that conversation, so we didn't even get into that position anytime as well. That was my take on it anyway. But
it's interesting though, because even just like sitting in that now is like, well, if something were to happen, say he fucking met someone and he got swept up in the moment and he fell into bed with her, and the initial shock would be like, oh, but then it's also like, well, and this is like coming from my gut, this is like, well, I'm not, like, if we had that kind of agreement of you need to call me first before you do anything, and then he did something and he didn't do that, it's like that whole, well, he's a human being and we make mistakes. Like, it's like this really deep acceptance of people being fucking human, and making mistakes and going, okay, well, that's all right. Let's communicate about this. And
so what's so different then?
Interesting.
What's so different between you and me sitting down for a cup of coffee, having one of the most intimate conversations that we've ever had with anyone in a year, giving each other a big hug, giving each other a kiss on the cheek, and like seeing each other off? Like, what is the difference between that and having sex?
What dropped straight in was the action. It's just a different action. Although I'm starting to see sex as something quite sacred. Like, I used to just fuck for validation, whereas now it's becoming a lot more sacred and a beautiful connection of two, like the bodies and coming together and
cool. So with that, right?
So I think
you no, finish your train of thought.
No, go.
So with that, then, knowing how much of an amazing bond and an amazing connection that you have in those moments and that you're creating, do you feel like you deserve, or that you have the right to deny anyone else of that connection if that's what they find throughout their days, throughout their time.
So the other person I'm connecting with, or
no, so Gary, partner. Right? So you know how much of a connection that you and Gary have, and the exchange of energy that goes on while you guys are together, and how beautiful that is. If he was to find that with someone else at some point, so I'll speak for myself. It's almost like I feel like I don't have, who the fuck am I to stop you from having such an amazing connection with somebody?
Yeah,
it's different.
Exactly.
I've felt the difference between just going out and fucking and filling voids and trying to achieve a certain goal to appease my insecurities. But I've also had those very intimate and amazing connections where it was a whole nother level. But nonetheless, if you are out there and you find someone that you connect with on that level, and the only reason that you don't continue exploring each other and sharing that intimate connection is because of some other person's insecurities about, oh, I just don't want you to fuck anyone. It's not in balance for me. It doesn't feel like, it feels like my insecurities is far trumped and outweighed by the beautiful connection that you guys are potentially going to have. So I don't feel like I'm in my right to say no. Don't do that.
So can sex, like, why does it have to lead to sex as well? Like, why can it not just be that beautiful connection with someone? But then is that in itself, well, then it comes down to defining what's cheating. But I wouldn't
Madonna
want him.
asked
Like,
about
and
values.
What does she say?
Would that be a part of it? Sex is sacred. Values determine a lot more than
to ourselves.
More of that to ourselves. Yeah.
Values are really important.
And this is what I'm. Yeah, which. Okay, yeah, you have it. Take it on for a second.
It's funny though, because it's like, well, you can, and this is the thing, and this is where I think a lot of people get caught up, is like you have all these rules in place of how you're supposed to act and how you're supposed to be, and you've got your values and you've got your boundaries and all this fucking shit, but then you don't know what's going to happen. Like, you do not know what's going to happen, and you may bump into someone and be like, holy fuck, like, who are you? Because I don't know about you, but I'm an ever-changing, ever-evolving being, and I'm constantly attracting a new amazing people into my life. So I don't know, I could walk out on the street tomorrow and bump into someone, a woman even, and be like, holy fuck, there is something here that I get to explore. But what it comes down to is, like, integrity is important to me, and respecting other people is important to me, and respecting myself. So I will go and say to fucking Gary, oh my God, like, I've met this person. And if it came to that, you know, like, if it came to that point where I was like, I want to be more with this person, and that drive to be with that other person is so much more important, or not more important, but is like something that I can no longer ignore, then I would speak to him out of fucking respect for him. But that's my choice.
Yes.
And at the same time, if it's the same happened for him and he fell into bed with her, and then he came and spoke to me and expressed that he just like had this incredible conversation, then I'd hear him in that. And I know that within myself. Yeah. Yes, it would probably fucking hurt like a bitch, but I know, and once all that emotion and that shit that my mind would create disappeared, and I came back to my truth and my core, which is my core essence and being, which is love, then I want him to experience his life in the way that feels good for him, and to experience those kind of connections with people that I possibly can't offer him. Who the fuck am I to tell him he can't? What, just because we're in a relationship together, he can't? No, it just doesn't sit right for me anymore. No, Carol, I haven't experienced him doing that yet. No. And I'm speaking from
touchwood.
Yeah, well, but not even that. Like, if that's what happens, and that's what happens. Like, I've got to that point where I'm so free from the need to control it that, and I've been on the other side, and I know that in the past, had we had this conversation in the past, I would be sitting here going, no fucking way, if he ever did that, he'd be fucking raw. Like, and I would feel that in my body. Whereas now it's just this shift. Something really deep inside of me has shifted massively in regards to that need to attach and need to control. And yeah, it's really interesting. So no, I haven't experienced that yet. And I know myself well enough to know how I think I would respond to that now. Interesting.
I think one of the points that was made in, again, The Way of the Superior Man was that, and touching again on what you said earlier about being whole and complete within yourself, the relationship outside of us is merely a choice that we get to make of a way that we express ourselves. It's just like painting a painting or the clothes that we choose to put on every day. The people that we hold close to us and relate with is a choice of how we choose to express our love and share our gifts with the world. And so, like you said as well earlier, it's completely unrealistic to believe that you're not going to be attracted to other people, that you're not going to, or that you're going to get everything from the one person. But when we're out and we see a beautiful sunset, or we see a beautiful person, or we have a beautiful connection, whatever it might be, it energizes us, and it's a exchange of energy there. And what The Way of the Superior Man does is, or The Way of the Superior Thinker, is it's sort of what I've been talking about with this vow of abstinence as well, is harnessing that energy and being able to transmute it and direct it into our purpose and in our form of creativity that we have chosen. Instead of chasing after that tail, like to get a quick fuck or to go and have a quick bash to release that energy, what is taking that attraction and taking that energy and then going and channeling it towards the people that we choose to relate with, or to the expressions and the creative outlets that we choose to express ourselves, whether it be our work or our hobbies. And so then the person that we're with in that relationship isn't just someone that we've got these boundaries and rules and value system that we're trying to keep to, but it's an expression of our own creativity as a human being. And so, if it is a harmonious relationship that we've got, then that is clearly an expression of what's coming out of our inner world. And all of these boundaries and values and stuff that we put up, like, they sort of wash away when you have this sort of train of thought. I feel it's just, you want to be the best version of yourself, which means that you want the people around you to be the best versions of themselves, because they're a mirror of you. And so you do have that love, you do have that respect, you are aware of how other people relate to you and you relate to them. So of course that communication is going to be there. Of course you're not going to go behind their back and lie and cheat and steal and pillage and plunder, because it is all an expression of yourself.
And if that was to happen by or to you, you get to choose how you respond to that as well. Like,
yeah.
If someone were to go behind your back and explore something with someone else, no, it's definitely not ideal. Of course it's not ideal. However, you can choose to fucking hold on to that and fucking be like, you can choose to like dive into that petty victim mentality of, oh, poor me, why has this happened to me? Or you can choose to go, okay, well, this actually has nothing to do with me. It's totally about the other person. And how do I choose to show up in this? How do I choose to respond to this?
Yep.
Like it's all fucking choice. And it comes back. Sorry, babe.
Make it go.
It's comes back to that radical self-responsibility. Like, all the fucking time.
Yeah, and just to maybe reframe in my own words, is that when someone comes at you with these, so I just got out of a relationship and within a week to 2 weeks she was with someone else, right? So I experienced that. I wasn't prepared or keen for that, but I also
So is that wrong though? Is that wrong for her to do that? No, 100%.
No, not at all. Not at all. But the way I approached it was, first of all, I allowed myself to feel the feelings. I allowed myself to experience and express myself in the ways that were coming up, right? and it was almost those 7 stages of grief, like allow myself to flow in and out of different emotions and just observe myself going through that. But at the same time, recognizing that she is doing what's right for her, and it is just an expression of me, and this is coming up for me. Like, I've created this for myself to learn something here. And what I was learning was that radical responsibility, was that radical letting go of my attachment, not to her as well, but more so to the path at which I felt life had to go. Because we, with our lopsided perspectives of right and wrong and good and bad and up and down, we see something happen and we're like, oh, that's so fucked. Well, it's not me, it's them, and it's not mine. But essentially, the universe is conspiring in our favor. So I look at that and go, this is happening for me. What is this doing for me that I'm learning, that I'm going to grow and strengthen and be able to propel me forwards? Because this isn't a fucked up situation. This is a beautiful thing that's going on right here. And I'm allowing on this human level to experience these emotions and go through the frustration, the anger, the this, the that, the other. But then at the same time, just knowing that the level of that pain that I'm going through, there's the equal and opposite level of pleasure that is attached to that.
Growth
because
and
everything's always in balance. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's
yes, fucking
blessing.
yes. Like 100%. Everything is happening for you, not happening to you. There is always an opportunity in every fucking experience. 100%. Yes to all of that. Amazing.
I think that is a skill,
though,
to be able to hold that mind frame at the same time as
100%. That's something learned.
Emotions.
And that's something that we are so not taught, not learned in, because we're not fucking taught that way. We're taught on this really structured fucking way of being and way of experiencing, and these are the fucking rules that society has placed upon us, and this is how it has to be, and if it's anything different and deterring from that in any kind of way, then it's not okay and it's not right. And I feel like that is just so damaging, because it doesn't allow you to fucking really experience this whole gift of humanness, and doesn't teach you how to actually process your emotions. It doesn't allow you to actually step in and feel. That's why there's so much suppression and so much anger and hatred and killing and violence and all this fucked up shit in the world, because we haven't been taught, and that's a whole other fucking topic, but we haven't been taught how to actually process emotions. And when it comes back to it, you are love. Your natural state of being is love. And you know that. You know that you've just forgotten. And it's about that remembering. So what and how do we teach our children?
Hang on, before that one, I want to go up a little bit and just respond to Madonna again, because I love some challenges. So first of all, Leah jumped on. She's like, I'm not sure what you guys are talking about and why I'm feeling anxious. Maybe I don't know what you guys are talking about. And Madonna just let her know. So they're talking about if one of them goes and has sex with someone else outside their relationship is a reflection of unconditional love. It's not love. Love equals respect. Hang on. If that's why I wanted to get to it. So if you have not enough self-control to respect yourself and your partner first before having sex outside your committed relationship, then you're frankly emotionally irresponsible. Would you like to take that first, or shall I?
Leah, that's not what we're talking about at all. I invite you to go back or maybe jump off and then go back and watch it from the start, and then you'll get a better understanding of what's going on. But yeah, definitely not what Madonna has said there. We do not promote that at all. Matt and I have a beautiful friendship. Have we had sex outside of my relationship? Only off here.
I hope you're wearing a condom, because I got a dirty mind.
So funny. I'm not promoting cheating on your partner at all. Neither of us are. No. We're talking about being in incredible, loving relationships that are open and full of communication and love and trust, and also having friendships with the opposite sex outside of that.
Exactly right. And look, there's monogamous relationships and there's polygamy and there's everything in between, guys.
Yeah.
And there's no right or wrong way of going about it. I think that if you are going to, if you're on this journey of self-actualization and you're truly striving to be and do and have the greatest for yourself, then this is a part of it. This is a part of your life, and understanding who you are down to the molecules and particles of your essence and the fabric that is this fucking universe. You are going to get to this point of unconditional love for everyone, everything. And when you get there, these pretend boundaries that have been put up around these definitions that society has laid on people, they wash away very, very quickly. And what is left is unconditional love. And we are just a bunch of matter intertwining and constantly dynamically evolving in and out of one another. And there's no right and wrong. Essentially, like if something seemingly fucked up happens to you, it's here to help you learn and grow, and it's a gift, right? If something beautiful happens, it's reflecting your own beauty back at you, and that's basically what it is. So just be you, really, is where it's at. Like, be you, be open, express yourself openly, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, 100%. And there is no fucking right or wrong. There is no fucking labels. There is no fucking, just drop the labels. And what happens then? You just create spaciousness and allowance of being. And that's what, I'm saying is that if any of this stuff does happen for you or to you, not to you, for you, like if your partner goes out and cheats, or, if you fucking cheat, it's not about, no, it's not right. Right. But even then, like, it's just, fuck. It's like, when you get to that space where you realize that everything that we live by pretty much has been decided by one person at one point in time, and they've just made a rule and everyone's jumped on and said, yes, yes, yes. When you get to that space, you go, well, actually, I get to make my own fucking rules here. And even what Madonna's talking about, it being disrespectful and cheating and all, that's not okay. To some people, that would be okay. Like, and this is what I mean. It's like, it's not one hard and fast rule for every fucking person. It's what you choose within your relationship with your partner is okay and is not okay. And it's more about, creating that beautiful space within that you can actually create life on your terms, rather than it being defined by society. When your behavior doesn't align with your values, beliefs, and actions, you are self-sabotaging yourself. Sure. Okay.
And Madonna, with that as well, like my prediction, without having an opportunity to chat to you, would be that there are certain things within you that are not aligned in respect to your values and your beliefs and your actions. If that's what's coming up for you, then that's you, where you're at the moment, and your next. That's your in the video game. This is your boss that you've got to get past to get to the next level. So there'll be something within there that is out of alignment with your values, beliefs, and actions. I would predict that wouldn't be too hard to find and to balance and harmonize. And then once you recognize that and own and love that aspect of yourself, you won't actually experience that anymore. You won't need to experience that anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I know my values, and I work on living by them every day. And it's like honesty and trust is very important to me, and that's why I choose to be that way with my partner. However, other people might not value that, and that's their choice too. Like, there's just that what you said about right or wrong before is so important, because there is no right or wrong. It's not one way and only this way. You get to choose. You get to define, and what feels. And that's the thing. It's like, if it doesn't feel right, like if you feel, for lack of better word, wrong, then that's something to look at. If what you are doing does not feel good within your body, then that's something to look at, because there you're out of alignment 100%. But however, if what you're doing feels okay and feels good, and you're living in your space of truth and communicating with your partner, and you know, there are no fucking rules. You get to make your own rules. That's essentially it. Like, fuck. What works for you?
And that is, I do see what Madonna's saying, in a sense that I do remember when I was out of alignment with my emotions, with my values. Like, my head would go, all right, I want to go do this stuff, but then my body would be like, no, we're fucking going over here, Maddie, and we're doing the complete opposite. And I specifically remember speaking, hey, Miss Benyoni, speak of the devil, working with some coaches, Jade, one of them, and also Michael Pinegar, who, shout out Michael, who really helped me go through that alignment of bringing these two things together. Because I remember literally saying, I know that I want to do one thing, but I always just do the opposite. And I don't know why the fuck this keeps happening. So there was that massive disalignment in my wants and my needs and what was actually happening, my thoughts, values, beliefs, behaviors. And that's, I've been working a long time on aligning these, getting into emotional alignment. So
there are no fucking rules
coming from that.
Sorry, just 2 seconds. I just saw Madonna. She was like, there are no fucking rules. What is alignment then? Do you want to address that?
There are no fucking rules. Yeah, well, it's all about perspective, right? I just did a mushroom ceremony a few days ago, and one of the things that came to me about this topic specifically, rules, was that I got this image and this metaphor of this guy sitting on a chair in the middle of a desert, and he just drew a line a meter each side of him, and he's like, and that for me represented rules. A guy sitting in the middle of the desert in a random spot with a line, and that's the rule, because there's infinite space on either side of each rule. That it is true for that man, it is true for that woman, that if they have a line in the sand and that is their truth, and that's how they choose to express themselves, and that's who they choose to be, well then, like, fuck yes, that's awesome, and I love it, and I love them for being that, and for holding that space, and for being in that space, and being that representation of me in that form. Okay, like, you are a part of me, Madonna, and everyone here is an aspect and an archetype of myself, and I love seeing every single one of you, and that's why I implore and explore and express and push everyone to express themselves openly, because it doesn't matter who the fuck you are, where you are, whether you're a suicide bombing murderer or Mother Teresa or anyone in between, right? You are an expression, like a unique individual expression, here to help everyone in their own way evolve on their own journey. Okay, so rules are just perspectives, man-made perspectives based on their entire experience up until that point. And I'm sure you've had experiences where you've changed your rules. You're like, one day I was like, take your shoes off inside of my house. And then 6 months later, it's like, fuck the shoes, don't worry about it. And it's just, but based on where we are at any point in time on our journey of life, it will dictate where the line in the sand is. And, society's built for the slowest, most retarded people out there, so everyone can sort of keep up. So really, if you're going to be the best version of yourself, you're going to expect more from yourself than anyone else would as well. So those rules don't really apply, because you're doing more than they sort of allow for anyway. So I don't know. Make your own fucking rules.
Make your own, exactly. And that's what I mean. Like, there are no fucking rules. Is that society has created this idea that there are these rules that you have to live by, where you get to actually check in with your truth and what's in your heart and live by that without actually obeying society's rules. And something I wanted to bring up that came up for me just then is that I've been listening to Conversations with God, the second book. And in there, he's talking about, there's one point where they talk about Hitler went to heaven. And it was really interesting to listen to this, because everyone's like, well, the guy who's talking back to God is like, well, how could he have gone to heaven? He fucking did something so badly wrong. And God turns around and is like, well, he didn't. He did it wrong by your idea of what's right and wrong. But by his idea of what's right and wrong, he believed he was doing something good for the people, for his people. And there were other people who actually believed that he was doing good for them as well. So yes, he did actually, by my standards of what's right and wrong, he performed some horrific shit that I am just like, that is not right. But in his mind, it was right. He believed he was doing something incredible and great. And I just remember hearing that and just going, holy fuck, like there is so much truth in that. And that just because we believe it to be one way doesn't mean that it is right or wrong in that regard. Like something that I believe is right or wrong. Sure.
In the sense that, like,
mind,
we're talking about him almost 100 years after the fact, right? And look at how much emotion it evokes in us, and the want to look after our fellow man because of such an atrocity that we have experienced or heard about it being experienced, and yet it is still having such a beautiful impact on us to want to look after the people around us.
And he was doing that from a space of love. Let that fucking land.
Yeah.
He was doing that from a space of love. Like, yeah, it's massive.
I love the metaphor of talking about love in the terms of water. So there's steam, there's water, and then there's ice. And so love can be it can be a metaphor of love in all three aspects, where Hitler's love for his people was so tight and so condensed, right, that it propelled anything else off it. The water version of love is like, I love you because you're my friend. I love my mom and my sister. I don't love the guy at work or my boss or that annoying kid down the street. But it flows in and out of this hierarchy of love of who we love more and less than that. And then there's the steam, which is the unconditional love, which we've been talking about, which permeates throughout everything and encapsulates all things, realizing that it is just everywhere within everything. And that's what gave me a perspective of how, all right, I understand how Hitler is love and how those actions were love, and everything is just with core that.
It all comes from love. It's amazing. It's and a lot of people really struggle with that. Yeah.
When things seemingly go fucked up in a relationship.
Yes. Gary goes and does something that I perceive to be wrong. That's my perception of wrong. Might not necessarily be his perception of wrong. And he's still doing it from a space of love.
So Maslow's hierarchy. So I'm glad you brought that up. Professing there is no fucking rules. Not reality. There is other wrong. Yeah, there's rules. I hear you both.
Of course, there's rules. Like don't fucking speed and don't kill and all that kind of stuff. Like, yes,
but there are rules that we've decided to adopt. Needed.
Yes, and
well, okay. What do you need?
I mean is that you get.
Tell me something you need. Tell me something you need.
Something I need?
Yeah, what's something you need?
Oh, water.
You need water. Why do you need water?
Because it keeps me alive.
So you need water because you want to stay alive?
Because I want to live, yeah.
Okay. So you don't need water. You want it because there's an outcome that you're attached to wanting that creates a need.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. So there's nothing really that you need then, is there?
No.
There's just desires that you're attached to. And if you really want to fulfill those desires, that's when a need is formed. All of a sudden there's, oh shit, I've got a need now. Yeah. Same. If you don't want to go to prison, don't shoot anyone in the face. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's based like cause and effect. There's a universal law, cause and effect. So, there are rules, but
definitely
they're all perspectives as well.
Exactly. And it all comes down to the individual. What rules you choose to believe, what rules you choose to live by. Don't kill or you'll go to jail. Okay, I don't want to go to jail. I'm not going to kill anyone. Like, it's a choice. Yeah. It all comes down to choice. And the same in relationships.
Respect people's values or they won't hang around you for very long. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm going to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by you get to make your own rules.
The fact that you're born defines your needs. Well, no, not really.
No, I disagree with that as well.
Yeah.
Partly if you want to live, like if a desire of yours is to live, then yes, you need to drink water and eat food and do whatever. But
That's all.
It
all stems
depends
from a
on what
want.
you want.
It does from a desire. Yeah, I feel like we need to give and receive love. No, well, that's the unconditional part. It's like we don't, whether we choose to or not, we're giving it and receiving it. That's just
Leah, I want to
happening.
keep watching, but you both are triggering me and going around in circles using random examples that don't fit into the topic, but they do all fit into the topic, my love. Leah, they do. This is what we're trying to get across, is that it all, like every single experience, be it right or wrong or however you choose to label it, it all comes back to love. And relationships are a prime example of that, like choosing unconditional love in a relationship to allow you to experience life in a way that feels right for you.
Yeah, I think self-love is a buzzword that's come up in conversation a bit as well, in respect
So
that,
what is self-love? What is self-love?
well, that's it, right? People define it as like looking after me and doing what's right for me and loving myself and talking to me really nicely, but that still creates that separation again. It's not, because if we are one with everything, but we're telling ourselves how lovely we are, then we go down the street and it's like, oh, this traffic's fucked, and oh, my boss is bloody keep me back to work, and this sucked and that shit. It's like, well, you're pointing at yourself outside of yourself, and so you go like self-love is
I am love.
like
I am
looking at
love. I
everything
am
outside
love.
of you.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
fucking me off, and you're fucking me off, and fuck you for doing that, and I hate you for that. It's like, but I am love. Yeah, good one.
Yeah.
Oh, crack up. Your mum just commented, thanks for making my housework easier. No worries, Carol. I don't think unconditional love means going off with other people while you're in a relationship. Then perfect. Don't do that. 100%.
Yeah.
If that's what feels right for you or feels aligned for you, feels good for you, then choose not to do that. That's okay. However,
And nor are we saying to do or not to do it is the right or wrong way as well.
yeah, it's whatever you choose. Whatever you choose. And how you choose, how you choose that.
The reason why there's like this constant back and forwards, right, is because this is a representation of what reality is. Like, I love that word reality, right? But reality is this strange, constantly feeds back onto itself. So we talk about how there's no rules, but there is rules. How there's no separation, but there is separation, right? So there's this constant, it is, isn't it, at the same time, right? Whatever we say there is, at the same time there isn't. And so that's why it's such a mind fuck, because people are getting from different angles. We're talking at it from both perspectives, but then it's like, you're right at 100%, you're right, and we are, and you're wrong, and we're wrong, but then there's no right or wrong at the same time.
Okay, Leah, so can you tell us in the comments, what does unconditional love mean to you? What does it mean to you as an individual? Tell us. Love is energy. Your level of love is how you give and receive. Absolutely. The love you embody within is what you are capable of giving and receiving, for sure. So decide and stop creating duality that doesn't exist. Maddie, I love you. That's from Valerie.
So decide and stop creating duality that doesn't exist. Well, that's it. It doesn't. And I know it all, and I don't know it all at the same time. So everything I'm saying is true and false at the same time.
I know everything and I know nothing.
But I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. There's a fair to good chance that I'm in a psych ward painting on a wall right now, just talking to myself.
Oh my God. I knew this was going to go fucking... Yeah, it was good.
And Madonna, thank you so much and Leah and Val for piping up and like
definitely love
this
it.
conversation in different ways. It's I love it. I love the interaction.
We can't do this without you guys.
Yeah, I wish there was more actually. More of you guys pipe up.
It's hilarious, beautiful. Leah, what's unconditional love? Are you telling us, my love? You're in the next room.
Okay, well, what is it for you? Nicola, what is unconditional love for you? In as few words as you can possibly say it.
allowing, accepting, understanding. That's what came through.
Okay. Yeah, I had acceptance, gratitude, and faith / trust.
Trust in what? Trust in humans or trust in... Oh, and that's another topic. Can you really trust someone?
Trust in the way. Trust in
the
what
way.
is more than me. And that I don't know what I don't know. Trusting that things are happening for me.
Yeah.
To me.
It's all perfect. When you realize how perfect everything is, you'll tilt your head back and laugh at the sky. I love that quote. It's my favorite, by Buddha. And it's true. Everything is so fucking perfect.
Yeah.
No.
Sin Ting Ming. It blew me away.
Fuck, that text. Oh, I'm so lucky. Are you doing the mentorship?
No, not this round.
Yeah, I can't wait to get stuck into that. It's going to be amazing.
We allow, create, and promote everything. Unconditional love is being totally self-responsible first and being self-aware of your own impact. I like it.
Beautiful. And if someone doesn't agree with your idea of unconditional love, does that make them right or wrong? We're allowed.
Wrong.
You get to... You're wrong. Or
I'm
does
always
it just
right.
allow them to be? It just allows them to be. Yeah.
Yeah. I think when you start looking at things as yourself, there's a newfound level of acceptance that comes with that. I am that I am. The Moses Code, I am that I am. Just walk around pointing to things. I am that. I am that. I am that. And this is a mind fuck to start with, if you haven't even heard of this concept.
I know. Yeah, I feel like this whole call's been a bit of a mindfuck for some. Carry on.
Have you done a go live on your page before, or just not your personal page, but your business page?
Business page? I don't think I have on my business page. No. I am that I am. Yes, Tony. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's full on. It's self-responsibility, like Madonna was saying. But self-responsibility isn't just this outer shell that what we seem to be in.
Yeah. Okay. I feel complete. How about you?
Yeah, I feel complete. Yeah. I'm going
to
get naked and run into some water somewhere. I'm going to find a pond.
Beautiful. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody, and being a part of this. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Let's do it again sometime.
Let's do it again sometime. I love you guys.
You guys.
You're my favorite.
Oh, see you later. You're my favorite too. I love you.
Have a good Boxing Day, post-Boxing Day.
Yeah. You too.
See you guys. Keep it real.
Bye.
See you, Nicola. Love you. Bye.